Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Strong and this is a Milestone 2 video. This is a newer video from the other Milestone 2 video because the audio was not working for some reason, so it did not pick up my microphone. So basically what I talked about was how I recently changed the plan for how I'm doing everything after discussions with my instructor, and so this is what we came up with. The game is going to have a start point, which is over here where you see the mouse moving around in a sort of circle, and then a finish point where it says finish over there. The theme behind it is you are escaping from a coal mine in like the mountains of Tennessee that has kind of collapsed because of like an earthquake going on. So you run out of this coal mine and you find your dirt bike, which is going to be over here, and you race through the track going to the finish to try and prevent yourself from being killed from the earthquake that happens to be going on at that time, of sorts, or the earthquake that had happened. There's going to be falling debris like rocks and things like that, as well as mine carts that will randomly go across the track. So what I did was I took this terrain here. I started off with basic terrain. I made it to where it was 1,000 by 1,000 meters, and then I rose up the terrain all to one massive high level initially, and then I went through and took the terrain brush here to raise and lower the terrain, and I lowered it to in certain areas to give it this feel like it's kind of like a mountainy area. It's really choppy looking right now, and definitely needs to be worked on a bit to smooth it out, but this is my rough design of it initially. Then I went through utilizing this second tool here, the height, and I picked a specific height on this mountain here, which ended up being here, and I did my track design all the way around initially for where the track would go. Once I was done with that, I utilized my Easy Roads 3D and I created this dirt track that you see currently on here, and that allowed me to initially paint the track all the way around following the areas that I had already set up. So you'll notice here, you may not really see it, but this height here at the start point and the height at the finish point are exactly the same. I did that because I figured I wanted them to finish on the same plane level, but the track going throughout has different elevation changes where the player has to go up hills or down hills, and I'll show you that in a moment when I do a brief run through test with it. What I also did was I created bridge areas. Now right now, like if I go over to this one here, you'll notice that it literally looks like it's just the dirt road is suspended in midair, and it is, but it's a solid object, so technically the player will not fall when they are on it. They'll go right across it. What I'm doing though to make it look better is I've started with this bridge over here, and I'm going through and I'm putting an actual bridge on that the player has to go across. This kind of gives that feel of, you know, it's an unsafe area. There's nothing to prevent them from falling off currently, and there won't be anything to prevent them from falling off. That's the whole kind of point behind this, is they got to escape without falling, and if they do fall, then, well, they have to start back over at a different point in the map. So currently the texture that I use is just this basic grass that you see here. It's all over. That's something that's going to be changed. I'll add rock texture to it as well. There will be a bunch of trees added, and underneath the track, rather than having it look like it's just a weird dirt track on top of green grass, I'll actually blend in some nice dirt texture below it to give it a better feel. So we'll go ahead and go through a quick race real quick so you can kind of see. So this is the player's dirt bike. He's currently facing this way just because that's the way I kind of placed him on the scene, but when the game starts, he'll be facing this exact way so that he can kind of go. none of the UI has been done. This is here as a placeholder because it is required for my bike to be able to move. So that's why it's upside down and looks kind of odd. It'll actually turn the whole thing as we play, but that's something that I will take care of at another point. I just needed to have it in there so I could test. So we go through. You can see that some of the area is kind of jagged looking. That's going to be all smoothed out to give a better feel with more textures added. But go through here. You've got a nice jump here, so the player has to kind of be careful. They have to go a little bit slower because hitting some of these jumps, they could wreck just like that. And then, it'll start them back off right now at this point, but that's something that'll be kind of adjusted later. But it makes it to where the player has to really kind of be careful, but try and go as fast as they can as well while racing, otherwise they're not going to make it. So I have this dirt bridge here, and so you have to be careful going across it. A couple areas back there that I have to adjust with the terrain. Whoa, that was close. So as you can see, it's definitely set up to where the player has to really kind of try and be aware of their surroundings and not go too fast when they're going around the track. Otherwise, they risk the possibility of crashing and not being able to finish the race properly. But I have a lot of areas that are blocked off really well so that it's less for the camera to have to render while the game is being run. Some areas are a little more open than others, and others that aren't really as open as most. And as you can see here, this is that area I was talking about with the bridge. So like I'm able to just sit on the bridge or this dirt road without falling through because of the type of track that it is. So it still functions the way it should. And yeah, this is pretty much the track right now. I'll finish going through just so you can kind of see to the end. I'm using the Bandicam free version, so I'm only able to record 10 minutes at a time. So I'm trying to get to the end as quick as possible so that it doesn't cut off like my previous video did. Whoa. Okay, I made that one. A few things I got to adjust. A little clipping back there. Those are more aesthetic things than anything, which we fixed at a later point. The biggest thing is getting this initial terrain set up and the track set up, and then from there I'll work on adding some of the AI elements, which will be the rocks falling from certain areas, big boulders falling, and different things like that. And then you get to the end. This is the end here. So there'll be something that'll be done a little different here to signify that they've ended, rather than it being just a solid wall there. But this is what I've come up with so far. I hope you've enjoyed, and I guess, well, let me show you a few more minor things. So I have a little river down here that I created. It's something that I might change because right now it's more like a texture than a river, so it doesn't really function the way I would like. So I might change that a bit, but I do have this waterfall here, which actually does function, and you can see it in game, which I will set up to have rocks under it and around it, so it looks like it's actually coming out of like maybe a cave or something. Just more aesthetic things, nothing that's really for the game or for the player, but more just give them a feel of actually being in a mountain region or something like that. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk with you all later.